So I did a video on the Steam survey, linked down below, and at the end of the video I spoke about how it gave me some interesting content ideas. And this video was the first of those content ideas. Today I'm going to talk about the GT710, a GPU you can currently get for the price of a large pizza and turn any PC into a very intro basic gaming rig. Why am I even bothering to make a video about a GPU that is most famous for being the perfect tester card? Well, according to the Steam survey, the GT710 is being used more to play Steam games than the following GPUs: the RTX 4060 Ti, the RX 6750 XT, the RX 6650 XT, the RX 7900 XTX, and the RTX 3080 laptop GPU. Now, you could say that some of the reasons that this is being used more is because some of these GPUs are an absolute pile of hot garbage. You know which one you are. Some of them are mid to end of life refreshes that didn't sell that much because people weren't in the position to buy them, or the upgrades weren't worth it for the price when they first came out, or they're obscure laptop GPUs, or in the case of the 7900 XTX, just a high-end GPU launched at a time when the economy it wasn't doing that well, and people were not looking to spend that much money on GPUs. Another thing I want to point out, thanks to the Steam survey, is that a lot of people are using basic Intel iGPUs and AMD iGPUs. Now, some of these might actually be better than the 710 in the case of at least some of the higher-end AMD ones and maybe some of the higher-end Intel ones, but I would argue that the majority of people using just an iGPU would probably be better served by going to eBay, skipping their next pizza, and buying one of these and popping them into their systems. So all of that got me thinking, if so many people are gaming on the 710 and these cards cost so cheap, is there something I'm missing? And I have one lying around, so I figured, why not? Let's go pop one in a test bench and see how it does. So I want to go over the test system real quick. I was originally going to use my normal test bench, but two things made me realize I shouldn't. A, the specs on the test bench are much higher than the average gaming PC of the, just the population at large. And B, the 710 is so old, the test bench is not playing nice with it. And C, the people that are going to look to use a 710 are probably using a PC that is much older than my test bench, and I feel like the results would not be as accurate as I would like. So the bench I'm using is basically just a pile of parts I cobbled together to use as a VM rig, but I feel it more accurately gauges the kind of PC you would consider using. I'm using an old 3400G and 8 gigs of RAM. Now, ironically, the 3400G has a better iGPU in it than the 710, but we disabled it and we're just going to pretend it doesn't exist for purposes of this video. And also, this was the oldest bench that I could cobble together on short notice. So for this test, I want to try out a few games. I tried out Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, and CSGO. I figured if I could run those games at somewhat playable settings, I could run the majority of low-end Steam games like Farm Sims, ports of older gen games, etc. One thing to note is all games were played in 1366 by 768 resolution, as no game I tried was even playable in 1080p. So let's get started with Overwatch 2. You can see in this video I am running a custom benchmark that someone designed that is pretty accurate in terms of actual gameplay, and it's averaging between 50 and 60 FPS. Now, I played a few unranked games, and it was playable, and it actually wasn't terrible, considering that I was playing on a 710. I played 3 unranked games, I lost 2 and I won 1. I hit lag spikes maybe 1 or 2 times, and my gun disappeared once in a while, and it was a little fuzzy at times, but I would say that the majority of the session I could actually accurately play the game. Now again, I want to state that this GPU costs as much as a pizza, so you do get what you pay for. Next, let's move to CSGO. Now, surprisingly, when I cranked CSGO down to the very low settings, I could barely get above 45 FPS, and I very much noticed the age of this GPU. And I honestly didn't think I would have any issues on this because I've seen CSGO run on a lot lower hardware. And I do want to preface that it's been a long time since I've played CSGO, and I wasn't really used to playing it, as it plays different than the traditional shooters that we play now. So I would say that I would wonder if that maybe had something to do with it, but I would say that CSGO was barely playable, and I wouldn't recommend playing it with a 710. So I loaded up D4 next, and when I loaded it, I got a message saying that this GPU wasn't even supported, but it would try to play it anyway, and I might have some issues. Now, as you can see from the video I filmed with my phone, because I would not even consider running OBS on this thing, it was barely playable, and I mean barely. I think, again, you got to consider that this thing only costs, about the same price as a large pizza. So, with that, I guess it was impressive that it could play Diablo 4 in some playable sense, but I think I'd rather play it on an Xbox One before using a 710. But like I said, it can play it, so that says something, right? And it makes me believe that I could probably play Diablo 3 pretty well. But again, I really didn't feel like downloading D3 and installing it just to see if it could do it. I think I got enough information from these 3 games. So after spending the better part of a morning gaming on the 710, something that I never thought I would say, my conclusion is that if you have a PC sitting there and it's not doing anything, and you want to see what PC gaming is like, skip next Friday's pizza night, go buy one of these things, and you won't regret it. I'm impressed in the sense that you get so much performance for so little, and maybe it opens up the door to people gaming, PC gaming, which I think the more PC gamers, the better it is for everybody. So again, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to say that I would recommend the 710, again, if you have no other GPU. I think it's better than nothing, and I'm quite impressed for the price. Everybody else, just watch this video, get a chuckle, and move on. Thank you guys again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Crewman out.